And welcome back to Fourth Down Talk, where every down counts and so does your opinion. It's me, your host, Albert Moore, and I'm here today with Chris, Extra Crispy Rivera. Tell him how you doing today.
Pretty good, man. I am feeling great. It's got a little time before football sets in this week, so I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I have a lot of thoughts to share today. So, yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Awesome. We are going to definitely get right into it. But, as always, before we get started, we want to make sure you guys definitely like and subscribe to the channel. Check us out on TikTok as we still keep posting these videos daily as we possibly can and give you all the football news and information that you're looking for. But we are going to get right to it. Well, there has been a lot of talks with the 49ers in this season, how it hasn't been a great season. They've been pretty much plagued by injuries for most part of the year. But, one person who's been standing tall has been Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has also been a topic of discussion, seeing how he was the Mr. Irrelevant to the Mr. Relevant last year. He was an MVP candidate. But as time goes on in this whole sport, you eventually got to keep these people and possibly start paying them. So, Chris, being a resident 49ers representative on this show, Brock Purdy comes up to you and says, hey, man, I think it's time we talk about the contract negotiations. How would you approach it? Is Brock Purdy worth franchise QB money?
The short answer is right now, no, he's not. He isn't. He hasn't shown me anything to make me believe that he is. He did look great last season. He looked fantastic, but he also had a team, as analysts like Nick Wright would call them, of Avengers. He had Christian McCaffrey when he was healthy. He had George Kittle when he was healthy. Brandon Ayuk had a great season last year. Deebo Samuel had an okay season. We'll get to him in a minute. And Juwan Jennings showed up last year. When everyone is healthy and everyone looks good, Brock Purdy looked good, even with a not so great O-line. But the game where it all started to change was Christmas Day of last year, the Ravens game. He threw 4 picks in that game, and since that game, he has been, in a short, he's been mid. He's been mid. That's what he's been. He's been a league average quarterback since that game. Now, you can say, oh, well, he had the injuries. Yes, there's been a lot of injuries on the Niners. Christian McCaffrey has barely been healthy all season. George Kittle is only good for a game, and then he's hurt if he does well. Brandon Ayuk, as we know, out for the rest of the season. I don't know what happened to Deebo Samuel. He's just not here. And Juwan Jennings, even he missed time this year. So he hasn't had his full complement of Avengers all season, and the stats kind of show it. And if you take away his weapons and he stops performing, then the numbers don't lie. The performance isn't all on him. Granted, he's done what he can to make sure plays get extended with his feet. He's probably kept us in more games this season just with his feet alone because nobody expects him to run. But am I going to hand him $60 million a year for that? No, I'm not going to. I need to see more, to quote some other people. But he has one more year left. I'm not going to give him $50-60 million right now. If you're not okay with giving him 60, you should not be okay with giving him 50. You shouldn't.
What about 40?
$40 million a year for how long are we talking? Are we talking a Daniel Jones contract?
Yeah, why not? Daniel Jones-based contract.
$40 million a year. They gave him, $160 million?
I can pull it back up if you like. But I guess that comes down to the question of just what – okay, so I guess here's my position because, quite frankly, I do think you would want to pay Brock Purdy at least some millions. I mean, at the minimum 50 because I think to myself, who do you have? People keep saying the Kyle Shanahan is a plug-and-play system. But at the same time, how successful has the plug-and-play been? Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy are the only 2 quarterbacks in the Kyle Shanahan system that has gone to a Super Bowl. So I don't know. What are you paying for? Are you paying for stability, or are you just trying to shift through it until you can find one that fits your system?
I am still not sold that he's a franchise quarterback yet.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm just not.
Well, I hear you, but it's just, well, who is? What's the solution?
Well, you either have to draft someone or bring someone in because he hasn't shown enough. When the weather's great and he has his full team, he's great. He does very well. And even then he does a little wonky stuff. For example, go back to the Bengals game last year. That was a sunny day with a full complement of a team and he played badly. Now, granted, that was after his concussion game in Minnesota, but no one knows for sure how hurt he was. But any other game where there's a weather condition involved, if it's raining, if it's even slightly foggy like it was in Seattle, or if it's snowy like it was this past Sunday, he can't hold on to the ball. Too many turnovers. The turnovers are killer. He fumbles. Now, I'm not even worried about his picks right now because Jimmy threw more picks and we still got to the Super Bowl. He makes better decisions than Jimmy. I will go on record to say he's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo is. And if you want to give him the same contract you gave Jimmy, they gave him, what, $135 million at the time, which was the highest paid, which shows you how far we've come. Yeah, that was 2017.
Context here. Old Daniel Jones got 4 years, $160 million. That's $40 million average salary with a $36 million signing bonus.
I would give him that. If you're going to pay him, I'm not giving him more than that, because you have to also think about, and this is to the fans as well, like, hey, look, do you want a quarterback that's stable? Yes, of course we do. But who else is going to be on the team? You're still paying Kittle. You're giving Debo 20-something million a year. You gave Ayuk 30-something million a year.
Brandon Ayuk. That dude is expensive.
And we don't even know if he's going to be the same when he comes back. He tore his ACL and his MCL. Christian McCaffrey tore his PCL after announcing he had Achilles issues. Like, what are we doing?
Well, let me ask you this, because I mean, at some point you got to pay somebody something if you're going to put them in that position. Are you saying just go into the draft, get a quarterback, and just rinse and repeat until you win a Super Bowl?
No, I'm not saying that. He has one more year left on his contract, his rookie deal. You play out his rookie deal, and how he does next year will determine if he gets paid or not. I don't see this rush to get him paid when he hasn't shown consistency. Let him be consistent, then I'll talk about giving you $50 million a year.
What's consistency in stats or in like wins? What's consistency in your eyes?
I need statistical consistency, which he has not shown. His turnovers are going up. His touchdowns are going down. His yards are going down. Everything is going down from where it was last year. And people will say, oh, the injuries. Yeah, I get it. The injuries are bad. They are really bad. We lost our starting running back, our starting wide receiver. We can't keep a healthy set of wide receivers. The starting O-line is bad. The starting secondary is bad. The starting D-line is missing people. I get that. But when other teams are also missing players and still being successful, the argument kind of gets moot. Like, I don't want to hear that.
So Brock Purdy has played 3 years. If you want to count 2022, he's only played 9 games.
Yeah.
So his stats, I guess, his stats this year are better than his first year stats. But seeing how last year was technically his longest and best year, I see what you're saying about give him more time. It's just, again, based on what he has given you as far as results, I guess that's why I look at it. Because I just don't know who else could be in that place that can give you the same results. I understand the stats aren't looking great. You can say that about Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow's stats are looking fantastic, but his team record isn't looking great. So it's like the dynamic changes based upon what the situation is. And in the case of Brock Purdy, the dynamic is it not so much what you have done for us or just so much what you are doing in general?
I think a lot of people are going off of what he's done for us because, granted, when we had Jimmy, people liked Jimmy, even though reality is he really wasn't that great. He was good in this system, but look at what he's done outside of it. Nothing. Mm-hmm. But the other issue that I have with Brock and paying him this season in particular is injuries. He's also on that injury list. He suffered that nasty injury in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. That was like his first real taste of the field. He even admitted in 2023 his elbow wasn't right till about midway through the season. And now here we are a year later, and now his shoulder's bothering him. It's his throwing shoulder. So now in 2 years, he's had a major injury to his elbow on his throwing arm and a major injury to his shoulder that caused him to miss time. And even he says he's not 100%. That doesn't bode well. Now, I'm not saying abandon ship. Now, I was teetering with the idea yesterday of, as you heard me say, the Brock Purdy experiment might be over. But I don't think we're there yet. I think I was a little bit presumptuous. I was a little bit caught up in my anger about the back-to-back primetime embarrassment that we've gone through. But that's more so my issue with Kyle and the coaching staff, which we can get to in a second. But with Brock, I'm not saying he shouldn't be paid. I'm just saying I wouldn't pay him right now. There's too many other holes to fill. If they want to give him an extension, like in the middle of next year, like they did for Deommodore Lenoir this year, I have no problem with that. But again, that's more money on the books. They just gave him 5 years, $92 million? Like, there's so much money going around on this team. If you give Brock Purdy $60 million, you are going to be sacrificing other parts of the team that we already can't afford to be losing. Right off the bat, if you pay Brock Purdy, Debo has to go. And I'm not upset with that. He can go. Kyle Juszczyk has to go. And I understand people don't like that because he's a really good fullback, or so I've been told. He's also getting paid like $15 million to get 10 carries a year, maybe 10 catches. He fumbled at the goal line on Sunday. I don't want to hear that. No, he's got to go. Debo's got to go. We might lose Jordan Mason just because Kyle doesn't really want to play him, and now he's hurt again. Like, I'm not giving this man $60 million right now. And I don't know why the bar is suddenly just, we got to give Brock Purdy $60 million. No, you don't. No, you don't. Offer him 40. Offer him 45. Daniel Jones was a first-round pick. They offered him 45. Baker Mayfield was a number 1 pick. He didn't get that much money.
Neither one have been to a Super Bowl. Just want to point that out too. Neither one have won an NFC championship game. So I'm just saying there's also that idea of what are we paying you to do? And I understand
the roster that Brock Purdy's had.
I mean, who'd you say again?
Baker and Daniel Jones. They haven't had the roster that Brock Purdy's had either.
Baker's had a pretty good roster in Cleveland. I don't know. That was granted the 49ers. Dude, they had a pretty good roster in Cleveland. I'll give you Daniel Jones, whether or not it's been questionable. And then plus, well, I guess like the argument there is that the Browns play in a tougher division, but they was a pretty decent roster. And Baker's best run, well, I don't know. I don't know. I thought Baker was a good addition. But at the same time, I just look at these stats between Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones, and Brock Purdy's stats and Trevor Lawrence do pretty well. Daniel Jones, on the other hand, doesn't. Out of all people, Daniel Jones doesn't have a Pro Bowl. Brock Purdy does, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
I saw that. Yeah, Trevor. Yeah, Daniel Jones
didn't go because he was in the Super Bowl, so he didn't go to the Pro Bowl.
Oh, there you go. So, I don't know. I just because let me ask you. You had mentioned before the idea that the Brock Purdy experiment is over. If that's the case, let's just say next season is a similar experiment to this season. No improvement. Do you go after Trevor Lawrence, particularly Daniel Jones? You mentioned Daniel Jones. He fits a caliber. The one thing Jimmy didn't do and this person didn't do is they move. Daniel Jones runs, right? I give you that. But at the same time, Daniel Jones is also a pretty mediocre quarterback overall. But would you rather have him over Brock Purdy?
Would I rather have him over Brock Purdy? No, is the answer. I would rather keep Brock. Brock has a lot of, as you say, intangibles that I don't think Daniel Jones has. I was advocating for him. I was saying, the 49ers can save Daniel Jones. I did say that. And to a certain extent, I agree, because there is the notion that people have that anybody can play in this system. Now, I don't agree with that. But I do believe that if you're going to play in Kyle's system, you have to be quick on your feet. And Daniel Jones might not be the best quarterback in the company or best quarterback around, but he's quick on his feet when he needs to be. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he's shown some ability to run, but he's not a runner per se. But both Daniel and Trevor have something that Brock doesn't. They have better arms than Brock does. That is my one biggest knock on Brock Purdy. And I don't want to be a Brock Purdy hater because I am a 49ers fan. I love my team. I like whoever we put under center. But his arm does not have the strength that a top-tier quarterback would have. There's been plays this season. There was plays last season where guys that he hit, if he had just been able to lead them down the field just a little bit more, 10 yards more, it would have been a touchdown. Instead, it's a great catch, but they don't lead to touchdowns. And we're bad in the red zone. Bad in the red zone.
Yeah.
So if you could give me a guy that can push the ball down the field like a Daniel Jones can, he can throw the ball downfield. So can Trevor. Baker can. If you can give me a guy with an arm like that can be just a little bit lighter on his feet than Jimmy was, we would be okay. And I don't think Brock's that guy. I don't.
All right. Well, what about a franchise tag? You feel like that would be a good idea for him?
If he doesn't show enough next year, let's say next year we're going to have an easier schedule. I did take a look. Now, not to discredit any of the teams there, but we do have the AFC South and the NFC South next year. Both of those divisions are not very strong. If the team comes back and we don't win at least 9 games next season, no, I'm not paying Brock. I'm not. Like, you can't convince me at that point. If he doesn't show closer to 2023 than 2024 next year, I'm not giving them the $60 million. I'm just not. Like, they would be stupid to do that. You would be signing up for mediocrity. That's what you'd be doing. If you want to sign up for the average NFL quarterback experience, then go ahead, give him the money. Go ahead, just do it. And just expect
hold on.
to no longer be playoff contenders.
You say that like it's like a top tier quarterback is a dime a dozen. Like, you sign up for mediocrity. Who else is out there that isn't even?
You have to.
Well, like, okay, well, let's rephrase the question. Where does Brock Purdy rank in the level of quarterbacks? Top 10, top 15? Who are quarterbacks you will take before Brock Purdy?
Who would I take before? Well, let's get the obvious few out of the way. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Get them out of the way because they're obviously better than Brock Purdy is. Yeah.
All right.
Get them out of the way. So after that, there's not a ton of people I would take over him right now. I mean, Kyler, maybe because he's fast. I'm not taking Stafford. Definitely not taking Geno. I'm just going to go by division. Let's see here. NFC East. Jaden's a rookie. I wouldn't take him right now. Jalen, maybe. It's not a strong yes for me because we throttled them when we played them. Brock had a great game that time too. Who else is in that division? Dak? No, I'm not taking Dak over Brock.
Well, the Giants don't have a quarterback.
I'm about to say, they don't have one. Tommy DeVito.
He's hurt though, if I'm not mistaken. So they're okay. The Giants are out of it. Let's go to the NFC. You said NFC East. Let's do the NFC West. Go back there again.
No, Kyler Murray. Stafford, no. Kyler, maybe. Geno, no.
All right, take it to the NFC South. Cousins.
Kirk, no, but I think Kyle wants him still. Baker, I would take Baker right now. I would. Okay. I would if I had the ability to trade them right now. I would trade them right now.
You know, if you could speak to yourself maybe about 2-3 years ago, I don't know if you would be saying that same thing because 2-3 years ago you were dumping on Baker real hard.
I am on record to say I don't like Baker Mayfield. I don't.
All right.
But watching him play this year, especially when he has receivers to throw to, he has an arm on him. And the thing about Baker is he is a competitor. He is going to give you 60 minutes worth of play. He will play to the end no matter what. And I don't think a lot of quarterbacks do that. I think when a lot of quarterbacks in the league, when they get to a certain point and they know the game might be over, they just kind of stop. I don't think Baker does that. But no, who else is in that division? NFC South, we got Baker.
Carr.
No, absolutely not.
No Carr. Okay, and then
no,
what's the last name?
Never.
Oh, Bryce Young.
No, I'm sorry, Bryce. I need to see more out of Bryce. Where we go? NFC North. This is where
NFC North. So you got Jordan Love,
J-Lo, as Chris Broussard said.
Oh God, I hate that name. But J-Lo. No Jennifer. Okay,
I'm not taking J-Lo. I'm not taking golf. I don't care how good the Lions are.
Oh, no golf. All right. What about come on, Sam and Darnold. Samuel L. Darnold.
In this system. I've seen Sam motherfucking Darnold in this system, but no.
All right.
And then who else? Who was?
Oh, the rookie, Caleb.
Oh, Caleb. I actually like Caleb. I'm going to go on record to say I like Caleb, but not yet. No.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, you taking him though? Like, do you like him that much? No. Okay. Well, move over to the AFC. So we already mentioned Josh Allen. Tua Tagovailoa.
No, I'm not taking Tua. Okay. Tua concussion protocol. Tua. No.
Do I even
turn the ball over?
Do I need to mention the Jets? We're gonna skip the Jets.
Just skip the Jets. Skip the Patriots. I'm not taking Drake May.
All right. What about Mr. Unlimited?
Unlimited. He's actually
steal his country right out. What the fuck he said?
You know, if it was Russell when he was leaving Seattle before he went to Denver, I would say yes. I don't really want him right now. He's fine where he's at.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's a yes. I would take Joe Burrow. Yeah.
Jameis, God love him, Winston.
He can't. Jameis is so inspiring. He's so motivational. He threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 picks. So that's a hard sell.
God's curse.
He's a big body. Can he run is the real question.
Yeah, but I don't want to get the Steelers and got that touchdown.
He did
in
that.
In the snow.
It's the turnovers. that bother me. But you know what? I might take a 1-year rental on Jameis.
Over
I would
Brock
take him
Purdy?
as a bridge. I would take him as a bridge. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, moving on to the AFC South. Wow, here we go. So first, CJ Stroud.
I like CJ. I would take CJ Stroud. I would.
All right.
I would take him right now over Brock Purdy.
Oh my God, I forgot his name already. Plays for Indianapolis.
Anthony Richardson?
Yeah,
No,
Anthony
I'm
Richardson.
not taking Mr. Two Pass. He has a 60-yard bomb or an incompletion. That's it. That's all he's throwing.
And you know, maybe you have to take a timeout. You know, he's a little tired. Got to catch a quick breather. Get him an oxygen tank occasionally.
If we take him and we have a crucial game and he goes for a run and all of a sudden takes himself out the game, no, we're not doing that.
All right. What about the mayonnaise loving? We talking the Will Levitz of the NFL. Will Levitz.
I think Will Levis gets a bad rap. I think he's improving, but I would not put him on the 49ers right now. No.
He's a good backup. I don't know if he's a solid starter. He's a good backup. And of course, you know, the one who's yet to be chosen, the prince who was promised, still waiting for that crown to be given, Trevor Lawrence. That team is 2-10, by the way. Just want to point that out.
I know they are 2-10. I get I get that. And you know what? I said this about a month ago. I watched a lot of Trevor Lawrence film, both in college and in the pros, and I'm sticking with my premise. The 49ers can save the prince. I would take Trevor Lawrence. He has the body. He has the arm. He can move when he needs to. I think if you give him the right system, and I don't know what the hell Doug Peterson's doing, if you give him the right system and don't make it too complicated, I'm not trying to call him stupid, but the way Kyle builds his system is, he says himself, we build the play calls so that if you don't see the first read, the second read's built into the play call. That's what Kyle says. He doesn't allow you to audible. He doesn't allow you to make changes. He tells you this is what you got to do. And I think Trevor Lawrence, and even to an extent Daniel Jones, that's why I picked him, could follow that system. I think so.
Okay.
I would take Trevor.
Kind of a they had like the little purple pieces next to them. If it was Madden, like fit right in.
Team fit, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Daniel Jones is like a C-, but I think Trevor's like a B, whereas Brock Purdy fits. He fits the system.
All right.
So that
going on
outside of those four, then you have Lawrence, maybe Kyler, maybe. So that would put Brock Purdy at like 9, 8 or 9.
Okay. Now, mind you, we haven't even gone to the AFC West yet because we still have Justin Herbert. Yeah. We still have Bo Nix, and we still have the mystery man who's part of the Raiders, who I could be honest with.
Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, AJ Cole III, Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I don't know these people.
No, we're not taking Ridder. Ridder looks like he's about 50. So obviously Mahomes is in that division. He was already on the list.
Yeah, you got Mahomes. What about
Herbert? I like Justin Herbert. I do. I like the way he's being used. Now people are saying, they're complaining he's not throwing enough touchdowns. Okay, his team is 8-3. So I don't care if he's not there. He only has 13 touchdowns so far this year. But you know what else he only has? 1 interception. 1. It's December.
That's true.
I would take Herbert. I would.
All right.
If you could tell me, if I could go back to the draft where Herbert was in and somehow convince Shanahan to trade up for him, I would.
How you feel about Bo Nix?
He's a solid rookie. I don't think he would work on this team.
Okay.
No.
And we'll just leave the Raiders. Well, there you have it. Okay. I guess we got the list of people who are better than Brock Purdy. But based on that list, you're going to tell me that ain't a $40 million quarterback, at the very least $50 million, if you have only that cream of the crop ahead of him, and there aren't even 32 starters in the NFL. There are barely 32 starters, and there's 32 teams. Brock Purdy is, well, let me ask you this. Yes or no? Is Brock Purdy a glorified backup?
No, he can start. No, he can start.
40 million, 45. I say 50 at the very least.
I'll give you 35 and discount to Warriors games. How about that?
You need a coupon to sign Trevor Lawrence. So you would need a coupon and a promo code just to get Brock Purdy to get at the table.
$35 million. You get to have dinner with Steph Curry. That's it. That's all you get. All right.
You wait for a little honey chime to come up when he pops into the office. Like, here's a discount for you.
But no, I think if the 49ers approach Brock and say, hey man, we'll give you 4 years, $45 million this year, I say he takes it.
Okay.
Because next year, the problem is right now, 60 million is too much. The problem is if next year, if you make him play out his contract and he does play well, well, then you have no choice. You have to give him the 60 million. You can't offer him bad money then. If he plays well and the team is healthy or not, if he plays well, you have to pay him next year. So it could be a situation where you got to pay him before you have to pay him. That's what happened with Dak.
Yep,
Jerry waited too long
yeah.
to pay Dak, and then he had to give him that much money.
Yeah, and
now he just gave him an extension to make him he's the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. Just crazy.
Yeah, funny how that is. Dak Prescott, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, let us know how you feel. Do you feel like Brock Purdy's worth the money? Hey, I tell you right now, again, from my position, quarterbacks are not a dime a dozen. You got to pay for stability. I do $50 million. I'll find it. We got capologists. Chris, he's on the side. You know what? I got to see another season. That's fair. You can even put a franchise tag on him. But you know what? Let us know in the comments what you think, because your opinion matters as well. But we're going to move right on to the next bit. I'm going to bring it back up again. We were just talking about it. We got to talk about the Al-Shaair, the big hit that happened on Trevor Lawrence. Was it a dirty hit? I'm not going to call this man by his real name, because to me, that was a dirty hit. Trevor Lawrence, on a 2nd and 7, running from behind the line of scrimmage, coming up, trying to gain the first down, slides at the first down line, gets clocked, and I mean lights out. Yeah. Some are saying that it wasn't a dirty hit because when you leave that line of scrimmage, you become a runner. Chris, how do you evaluate the situation?
You know, I feel like my answer is going to upset some people here. Maybe it's different for those who played and those who didn't. I don't know, but I didn't play a ton of football. I only played in high school, and then I got injured. But I'm not going to say it was 100% dirty. I'm not, because I'm on the side of what else can you do at a certain point? Yes, he did hit him in a nasty way. He led with his forearm. Trevor was going down. I get that. But he was also running. Azeez, as his name, I won't say his full name. His name is Azeez. He was a former 49er. Maybe that's why I have a softer spot for him. But this is also not the first time he's done this. He did it this season. He did it to Caleb Williams. Now he's done it to Trevor Lawrence. It was a nasty hit. And I think because of Trevor's reaction to it, because I went back and rewatched it even right before we started recording, Trevor gets hit, and then you see his arm kind of stuck in the air, that muscle spasm that you can't control, that makes it look worse. Then, of course, the team starts fighting right over him, making it even worse.
Yeah, almost stepping on him, it looks like in some cases.
It was a bad hit. I will say that. But the people that keep saying, oh, well, he just needed to slow up. He needed to pull. You can't do that at a certain point. He was already moving forward. The laws of physics don't allow you to just stop doing that and go off to the side. Now, could he have tried to lean to the side? Yes. Did he try to lean to the side? No. So am I saying it's 100% dirty? No, I'd say it's about a 65% dirty hit. The rest of it is football. Football is a dirty, hard-hitting sport. And I'm not trying to be a defender apologist, but the past few seasons, they've taken more and more away from defenders. Roughing the passer is called a lot more. You can't hip drop tackle anymore. Now you can't hit runners when they slide. I mean, it's going to come to a certain point. Defenders are going to not be able to do much. Scores are going to start running up. And I get it. Highlight reel offensive plays are good for casuals. They're good for NFL business. But defenders also need to be able to play the game too. And right now, I don't feel like they are. So he should have been fined, yes. But a 3-game suspension, I don't think he should have been suspended for 3 games.
3-game suspension was a lot. Now, I take the position that I do think it was still somewhat of a dirty hit, only because of the position he's coming in. Like, Lawrence is sliding, and Al-Shaair really tries to go at below him. So like, if Trevor Lawrence didn't slide and Al-Shaair was still going for the hit, well, he would have hit his legs, and would I be clipping? Or
he could have hit his leg. He could have knocked him in the hip. Also a bad hit.
Isn't that technically also illegal? You're not supposed to hit low on receivers or running backs now.
You're not supposed to hit low.
I don't agree with the hip drop tackle being illegal. I hate that a little bit. I get it because it could twist the leg. But like you mentioned, football is an aggressive sport. You could twist the ankle by running. RG3, non-contact play, put him out. So I get where you're coming from. Let me ask you, based on how this was approached and how the rules have changed, it's an age-old question: is the game getting softer?
Yes, that's the
Ooh.
simple answer. It is. It is. And to go back to the play, yeah, the issue is the sliding because any other person that carries the ball doesn't slide. No one else slides except quarterbacks. Because if that hit happened to anybody else, no one would care. They wouldn't. You can deny it all you want. I don't care if you put it in the comments. You wouldn't care if it wasn't a quarterback because they're the only ones who slide. So it gets to the point, and then I'm not trying to pull a full Mahomes comparison in this conversation, but that gets brought into this. That I was not the one who made the connection here. I was watching Baldy. He said, if you're going to flag players for it and suspend them, stop letting quarterbacks run with the ball. Just stop. Tell them they can't do it.
Oh, no, I don't like that idea. What do you mean you can't do it? No, listen, the quarterback is look, for all it's worth, and I get it, people hate the quarterback, but in the end of the day, it is the most important position in the game, if not the hardest position in American sports. The quarterback's legs make it the third weapon. You're going to tell Steve Young he couldn't run, Warren Moons, Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. There's a long list of quarterbacks who utilize their legs for running. And to take that away because of your defensive players not being able to control how they tackle. Hey, listen, there's been a lot of evolution since Lawrence Taylor to now. And I don't know, they seem to have adjusted the way of tackling because if Lawrence Taylor was playing today, he would be flagged every play.
He would have been kicked out of the league by now.
Right? I mean, but you know what? Professionals know how to adjust. You tell me that this Al-Shaair, how do you say his name? Let me quit messing it up.
Azeez Al-Shaair. That's his name.
Azeez Al-Shaair. Azeez. You keep saying you said before that he's done this. So at some point, it's not an accident. At some point, it's meditated attack. It's like, oh, I'm going to knock him out. You slide on me, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Is that unfair to think, considering it's multiple offense?
It's not unfair, but my thing is, if a quarterback wants, if we're going to protect the quarterback while he's dropping back in the pocket behind the line of scrimmage, that's fine. You can make all those rules you want. The moment you take off and you tuck that ball and you pass the line of scrimmage, you are a runner. All right. And once you're running, well, if you get hit, you get hit. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Oh, you haven't earned that flag, huh? Is that what you're telling Cam Newton? You haven't earned that flag, kid.
Now, to be fair, in the later stages of Cam Newton's career, a lot of those refs seem to be looking the other way. He got mauled out there.
He was getting mollywopped.
He would come up, his shoulder pads would be out, helmet full of grass and dirt, and the ref's like, I didn't see nothing. That's different. Yeah,
he calls himself Superman. Go out there and be Superman.
And if you go diving, see, that's the slide is always going to be a point of contention. This is not going to go away until you start, like you said, still like they're doing. If you start making punishments drastic, then the hits are just going to stop. And then once they stop and quarterbacks start running for more yards, then it's going to come back to why can't they stop them from running? Well, because if you hit them, you're going to get flagged.
All right. Well, you know what?
It's a rough. It's a hard situation, man. It's really tough because I feel like if you play defense, which is what I did, I was a DT. So if you play defense, I feel like you're going to be more on the side if it wasn't a dirty hit. But if you didn't play the sport, or if you're an offensive player, I feel like you're going to think it's dirty, no matter what.
No. I'm going to take up for the offense. I'll admit that. I am.
Defense.
Nothing against the defense. Defense is important. Defense wins championships. Arguably the most important people. But you got to protect.
Kevin Wildes coined that phrase, according to him.
Oh, did he really?
Okay. Yeah, that's what he said.
Show me the copyright. I want to see that. As far as I'm concerned, I coined the phrase. I'm just making things. But anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think it was a dirty hit? Do you think Trevor Lawrence had it coming after he left the line of scrimmage? Do you think he's being a little bitch for not taking it for like a man? Okay, that's a bit much. But
that's a bit harsh. I didn't say all that. Now, it wasn't like – I've seen some nasty hits. Like, there was a hit Joe Flacco took like that once. Helmet came clean off. He started bleeding out of his ear. Like, that's different.
That wasn't that long ago either.
It wasn't. I think in the light of what happened with Tua, I think Tua's issues changed a lot as well, because Tua took some nasty hits. And I will not forget that image of him on the ground with his hands unable to do anything but this. All right,
that
and
was
I know the
weird.
NFL doesn't want that. They don't want that. And you saw Trevor doing it. It's bad.
It's
But
bad optics, but I can't help but point out how the NFL zoomed in on those hands. It's like, I hear you guys don't want it to be seen, but y'all sure as hell. Who was the player this past week? He landed on his head in the tackle, and he was carted off the field.
oof, I don't
Do you remember
that.
this? Oh, I got to figure out what this was. But yeah, it was in a tackle. He landed on his head, and the NFL replayed it at least a couple times. I was like, okay, this kind of makes me also think that I can't forget the time in which the NFL had the greatest hits, and they were the ugliest hits that you can see. And they used to sell these tapes, DVDs on a regular. Hell, I think YouTube still shows them.
I'll say YouTube does have them. You can go on and look. The biggest hits compilation. You see guys just getting murdered out there. And they always show that Reggie Bush hit. That one always stands out to me.
Oh yeah,
that one when he was on the Saints, he got lit up. But it wasn't a dirty hit though, because he wasn't a quarterback. All right.
That wasn't him either. That was a referee that got carted off. All right. Well, nonetheless, tell us what you think in the comments. Do you think it was a dirty hit? Do you think, the rules? Just tell us what you think about the whole situation. It's a little contentious. It's all in the game, though, right? But, hey, we're going to move on to the next and last topic in this case. It's going to be Week 14 predictions as far as the best games that we can look at. We're not going to really look at teams that are, like, losing and won't have a chance in the playoffs. We're just going to keep it with the ones that are in the top spot.
Whoa. Hey, my team is on that possible not playoff list, buddy. Right?
Well, I mean, okay, that's fair. I guess I should simplify it by saying we're going to look at the teams that really matter, or at least the games that do matter, that has real playoff implications.
That's fair.
That'll be interesting. So we're going to start off with this Thursday's game coming up. Oh, come on, division rivals. Green Bay in Detroit, Thursday night. Who you got winning this one?
Last year, the Lions went into Green Bay and they beat them. And then on Thanksgiving, Green Bay went into Detroit and beat them. I am feeling very similar as I did last year. Earlier this season, Green Bay lost to Detroit in Green Bay in the rain. Now they're going to Detroit, and it's their job to make sure they stay in this playoff race. They got to lock in a better wild card spot. So, yeah, I think Green Bay's going to win this game. I think they are. I think a loss will not hurt Detroit that much. They haven't lost since they were 1-1. And as the analytics say, Chris Broussard said himself, they're due for a loss. And a loss won't take them out of the playoff spot. It won't take them out of the number one spot in the NFC. They can afford it. So I think the Packers win this. Okay. Convincingly is the question. No, I don't think it's convincing. I think it's a 27-24 kind of
27-24 kind of win. You got Green Bay going into Detroit and upsetting the Lions. The Lions who are riding high. Vegas odds got the Lions by 3.
They're the home team. Makes sense. You get 3 points as a home team, so that means they don't believe in them that much. That means they just got the standard home field advantage.
I will say, if Green Bay goes in here and shows a really good performance and beat the Lions, I will then start to believe that Green Bay is that team that everyone keeps saying that they are. But until I see that, I'm not certain they are the third best team in that division until I see otherwise. Yeah, I got the Vikings over them.
Worse than the Vikings?
Yeah, I got the Vikings over them. I do. I hear what everyone's saying, but the Vikings play really good as a team. They play good as a unit. I know a lot of people believe in Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold ain't asked to do a lot. And when he is asked to do a lot, he'll mess it up. So I like
one of the best receivers in the league.
No, I hear you. All right, hey, what do you want? You can only play with the team you have and the team you're playing against. I can't penalize him for that. All I'm saying is I think the Vikings are better at this moment until I see otherwise. I just need to see it. That's all.
I predict we're going to see more J Lo instead of J No this weekend.
Oh, right? Okay.
On Thursday. Sorry.
Well, if you had my love. But waiting for tonight, we're going to go straight into the next game. And that will be, what game we want to do here? I mean, well, technically the next game on the list would be the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah, I know. It's just all right, I got the Dolphins. Let's just get it out the way. It's in
the
Miami
Dolphins are
too.
Gonna win. I don't think the Jets win another game this year. Let's just put that
this year. Oh well, that is. Hold on a second. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I just want to take a look at it. The Jets for the rest of their schedule after the Dolphins will be Jacksonville. I don't know. That could be a win. The Rams, that's a loss.
Matt
the
Jones
Bills, that's a loss. And they got Jaguars, Rams, Bills, Dolphins. That's how they close out the season.
Well, they're going to lose to the Bills unless they sit people. They're going to lose to the Rams, most likely. They're going to lose to the Dolphins. They might beat Jacksonville. Because Mac Jones just isn't good. I'm just going to flat out say he's not good.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
but
so
that same Mac Jones did also take Minnesota to the limit, all right? Now, they did lose that game, but Sam Darnold also threw 3 picks, and they only scored 12 points, all right?
Oh, boy. Don't have my Sam Darnold looking that bad. I just gave you some credit a few moments ago. Let's just ease off of Sam for a second.
Old man Rodgers. At this point, I heard Chris Broussard, because I do watch First Things First. I heard him arguing that there's no point in benching Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers. Nah, screw that. He looks bad. He's playing bad. Put Tyrod Taylor in. Let your team actually get excited about the last few weeks of the season. Give them something to play for because their numbers are not that different. Aaron Rodgers can't run. He does still have some of that throwing magic in him, but behind that line, he's not going to get a chance to use it. Deactivate him. Let him be the next Joe Flacco so that next year he can show up on a team when they need him because I'm just going to call it right now. I think at the end of this season or before it, Aaron Rodgers will not be a Jet, and I don't think he's on a team day one next year. I don't.
Oh, wow. So he's out the league, huh?
I don't think he's going to. Who wants him? You see how he's playing. The only teams that would want him are teams that have great O-lines, and all of those teams already have a quarterback that they're paying. So, no, he's not going to be on a team unless it's a backup.
Wow. That's just like that. Without a whimper, Aaron Rodgers fades into the good night. He doesn't get the send-off that a Manning got. Well, you know what? We'll just put this in the books as Aaron Rodgers' year that never happened. Just like Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals.
That's fair.
Never happened.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the last time I saw Aaron Rodgers was him walking off the field with Randall Cobb in that green and yellow. That's the last time I saw him.
Cheeseheads all the way. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, that's fine. We got the Jets losing this one, and watch the Jets come back and win. That's just going to show how bad the Dolphins are. That'll be ridiculous.
Tua gonna get hurt.
Oh, don't say that, but you never know. Tua, well, you never know. Moving on to the next game. We'll go down the list here real quick. Right. Falcons heading to Minnesota to take on the Purple People Eaters, Sam Darnold's Vikings.
This is the Kirk Cousins homecoming game. This is his first time back in Minnesota since he left.
Oh, man. All we missing is Case Keenum doing commentary. Right. It just makes it perfect to me for some reason.
And couple that with the fact that it's been reported that the Falcons' desire to keep Kirk is going to depend on these last 5 games.
Ooh.
That being said, I hate to just give Sam Darnold credit when I just dunked on him. The Vikings are winning this game. The Vikings are winning.
All right. I just want to point out, you said the last 5 games. Let's just look at the Falcons' last 5 games to see if Kirk Cousins has a job. Vikings this week. At Raiders. In New York against the Giants. I'm sorry, at home against the Giants. At Washington for the Commanders. And back at home for the Carolinas to close out the season.
No, those are winnable. All those are winnable games.
Yeah, these are not great teams.
I don't think they beat Washington. I don't. And Carolina could just be a little frisky. Carolina's been playing frisky over the past couple weeks. Bryce Young has shown me a better side of himself. They might win that game. I'd say right now, Falcons could go 3-2 down the stretch. I think they can win 3, lose 2, but more likely they're 4-1. I say the only one that they lose to in there would be Washington.
That's fair. That looks like the only team. Yeah, that's probably the one I give them because I don't really like the Raiders. No, I don't like the Raiders.
The Raiders aren't winning that game. The Raiders don't have anybody.
Well, hey, speaking of Carolina, guess where they're going to be going? To Philly, because that's where it's always sunny. While eating some cheesesteaks, they're going to be playing the Eagles on top of it.
Bryce Young hasn't looked good the past couple of weeks. He's not going to look good this week. He's not. Now, to be fair, this is the same Eagles team that needed a end zone interception to close out against Jacksonville. It's that same team because Trevor Lawrence was going to score if he didn't throw that pick. So I don't know. Maybe they have a little bit more fight in them. Now Philly's winning this game. Philly's winning this game like 31-13. Like
you couldn't even slightly convince yourself of this a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
That Philly is riding high right now. The only way they drop this game is if they make a lot of stupid little mistakes, which would involve not giving the ball to Saquon. So I don't think they're going to do that.
That's fair. But I just want to point out the NFL just really wants to get the NFC South games out the way because the next game is the Saints versus the Giants. You know what?
Oh God,
It doesn't even matter. We're just gonna skip this game
no,
because
it doesn't matter.
I don't think the Giants or the Saints fans are gonna watch this game. We're just gonna move on to the next one. Raiders versus Buccaneers, NFC South. We get it all out the way. So it's the next one. Raiders versus the Buccaneers.
Baker has Evans back. Raiders can't stop Mike Evans. Even if they could, they can't stop the ground game. So no, Buccaneers are winning this game pretty handily, by the way.
All right. So we got a battle of the great mediocres. The greatest mediocre teams of all time against each other for the battle of who is the most mid. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to pick the Titans. That's the end of that statement.
I'm picking the Titans. I'm picking the Titans because of Mac Jones. I don't believe in Mac Jones. I don't think I've ever really believed in Mac Jones outside of that 15 minutes where they were saying Kyle Shanahan wanted him instead of Trey Lance. But after that, I have not seen anything that would make me believe Mac Jones is a viable starter. So no, the Titans are going to win. Will Levis, I don't know if he plays. Is he playing? Did he get that
He's
confirmed?
playing. Let me just make sure, but I believe he is playing. Because he had a scare.
I remember I thought he was questionable, but I didn't think he was ruled out.
He's not out. He is on the report, but as of right now, he is currently set to play. He's not showing on the injury report this week.
That one receiver y'all got is not bad. That Westbrook Inkine, I don't know how to say it.
Well, yeah. I like him too. And Calvin Ridley's been very well.
Ridley is good.
Really well since the bye week, in fact. He's been kind of.
There are rumors going around that if Aaron Rodgers isn't on the Jets next year, he would go to Tennessee.
And do what? With the country album? What are you asking them? I don't know.
They got good ribs there, from what I heard.
They gonna enjoy the barbecue? Like, I don't know what's he gonna go to Tennessee and do. All right, I'm glad he enjoys it, but
he has a house there, you know.
Oh well, he enjoys ayahuasca while listening to some old Hank Williams. I hear that. Oh, but moving on, we got all right. NFC North battle. We're talking the Browns going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
Now, Jameis did beat them. He did do that. That did happen.
Yeah.
Is it far-fetched to say I think he could sweep the Steelers?
Oh, sweep the Steelers off of Russell Wilson's 400-yard game? This guy just came out of nowhere. Unlimited. You know what unlimited means? Never ending. Right?
I know what it means. And I did see that same Russell Wilson lose to Jameis Winston. Now, granted, that was in the snow. It was a snow game. I don't know if it's going to snow in this game. I know both of these teams play outdoors, and it's both going to be really cold no matter what. So I think this is a home game for Cleveland.
The Steelers. It's Steelers.
Steelers home game. Okay.
They are a 7-point favorite going into this game, by the way. Vegas odds.
What's the weather going to be like? That's the question.
I don't know. It's kind of early to tell, but let me see if I get a weather report for Pittsburgh. Why not? Let's do it.
Like this. If it's raining or snowing, I'm picking Jameis. If it's just going to be cold, I'm taking the Steelers.
Ooh.
Because Jameis also did have a showing against the Broncos. He threw for 400-something yards, 4 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 picks. He throws 3 picks against the Steelers. I don't think he wins this game.
Right now, it's projected to be 48 degrees sunny.
Oh, yeah, Steelers are winning. James isn't going to win that game.
Yeah, it's projected to be 48 degrees. By the time that game starts, it's going to be 47. I'm sorry, it's going to be 44 degrees by the time the game starts.
Steelers are going to win by a touchdown or less, and we're going to get a great Jameis quote, but I think that's about it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I tune in for. I just want the quotes at this point. I can hear Jameis. You know what? I find this fascinating. Jameis Winston wears his religion on his sleeve. Like, we know this man believes in God. He ain't getting that same flack Tim Tebow got. It's just fascinating. Oh, it's the kneeling thing, huh?
Yeah, apparently you can't kneel in the NFL unless it's the end of the game. Because if you kneel at any other point, you need to get out of here. All right?
Yeah, you're just a distraction. We already got rid of that one. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I was told to get that son of a bitch off the field. All right. President said that, by the way.
I got the rope right here, but all right. Moving on to the next game, we have the Seahawks versus the Cardinals.
2 teams that I just don't like. I don't like bird teams, number 1. I don't like my division rivals, number 2. That being said,
A
from a
tie.
49ers perspective, we need the Cardinals to win this game.
Mm. Yeah, I see that.
What?
Seahawks, right? Yeah.
Seahawks are on top of the division, and if we want any chance to stay alive, which is a slight chance at this point, we need the Cardinals to win, especially since the Cardinals are coming off of a loss. I want the Cardinals to win. I don't feel like they're going to. I think we're starting to see the late season Cardinals. They still got that nasty taste of the old Cliff Kingsbury meltdown in their mouth, and I think Seahawks win. I think Seahawks are riding high. I think they're going to win. Jackson Smith-Njigba has become a great receiver. I think he's had 6 or more catches in like the past 5 or 6 games. He's become Geno's security blanket, and he's worth it. He's a good receiver. You couple him on the underneath with DK Metcalf going over top. I hate giving my fucking division rivals praise, but they're good. All right. Those two guys are good. I think Seahawks win.
All right. Interesting. All right. Well, in that case, next game on the docket will be the Buffalo Bills heading to Los Angeles to face the Rams.
God.
Yes, and in the NFC West.
So I think obviously Buffalo's going to win this game. Now, East Coast teams traveling to the West Coast don't always go that well, but the Bills are a hard team to stop right now. And the Rams, as decent as they can look, they're mid. The Rams are mid. Puka's not as fast as he was last year. Maybe it's because of his injuries or something. Cooper Kupp seems to have somewhat regressed. That O-line is just ass. I don't know they're going to get Stafford hurt if they keep it up. He's already old for a quarterback. Buffalo takes this handily. I'm talking double digits. They're going to win this game.
Double digits against the Rams. Wow. Hold on. I just want to pull up the Vegas odds on this one real quick.
What are the Vegas odds? I bet it's like 7, 8.
Bills minus 4.5.
4.5? You crazy.
Bills minus 4.5. This is in Los Angeles, mind you. In LA.
Whose house? I'm very well aware. I'm very well aware of 49ers South. All right. Levi South. I'm very well aware of that.
Okay.
Nah, I'm sticking with my pick. Buffalo's winning. Buffalo's winning this game. And that's not biased, by the way. I just don't think the Rams are very good.
You're right about it not being biased because you know what? We got a game for you. We're going to see if your bias is showing. It's a game that's happening. Chicago Bears versus the San Francisco's 49ers in Santa Clara. We just talked about Brock Purdy and why he shouldn't get paid, become a bum on the street. But before you kick him out on the street without his paycheck, does he at least get the win against the Bears?
The Bears have lost 6 straight games. 6. They fired their coach. They fired their offensive coordinator. They've lost a couple of close ones. They lost the Hail Mary close. They lost the field goal block at the end of the Packers game. I don't know what they were doing on Thanksgiving. They should have probably won that game against the Lions. You have 46 seconds. You're in the red zone. You have a timeout. You don't call it. You don't score. You don't do anything.
That's a bit weird.
Listen, I'm going to get on our soapbox for a second.
Oh, here we go.
And before I give you my answer, I need to directly address the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, and the coaching staff. You cannot lose this game. You just can't. You're at home. You're playing against a rookie who lost his coach and his coordinator this season. If you are the offensive guy you say you are, Kyle, I don't care how many of your players are hurt. You have Juwan Jennings. You have Kittle. You have Garendo. You just signed another running back to help him out. You have Pearsall. You have Cowing. You have Conley. You have enough players to get this done. If you lose this game, the whispers that are already out there saying that you should be fired are going to start turning into yells. They're going to start yelling at you, Kyle. You have to win this to save your reputation, to save your season, but what tiny thread is hanging on. Because even I am a diehard, staunch supporter of whoever my team's organization wants to put in charge of it. You will lose the faith I have in you if you lose this game. You shouldn't have lost as bad as you did to Buffalo. You shouldn't have lost as bad as you did to Green Bay. And I swear, if it's another blowout, if you lose this game, Kyle, you need to be fired. You need to be fired. That would be disgusting. Of the 5 games we have on our schedule left, this one should be a win. The Rams should be a win. The Dolphins should be a win. You lose any of those 3 games, the season's over, you're done. I would fire you before the end of the season. I would. And I don't want to hear people say, oh, you shouldn't fire him because he's getting 14 minutes. I don't care. Dude, I just don't at this point. You got to win the games you're supposed to win. That being said, 49ers win 21-17.
All right. I figured out all that. I honestly thought he was going to pick the Bears for a second. Like, oh, my God. After that. All right. Well, there it is. Harsh words. Chris not paying Brock and ready to kick out Shanahan. This is it. This is a make or break game for the rest of the season. Trade everybody.
I'm going to post that today. All right.
All right. Well, strong words. 49ers make it happen. Next game on the docket. We got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, it's that word again. I meant Chiefs. The Chiefs versus.
It just gets in your head sometimes.
You know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it should have a Snickers. That's probably what it is. Oh, what are you liking this one, though? Chargers, Chiefs.
Man, I miss Jim Harbaugh.
Sunday night game, by the way. Want to point that out, too. So this
that's good. That's prime time. Yeah, this is two
Everyone's watching this one.
This is two winning teams playing well. Well, one team is playing well. The other one is playing with voodoo magic. Where's this game at? Is this in Arrowhead?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Chiefs Kingdom. Mahomes Kingdom, shall we say.
Well, if it was in LA, I might pick the Chargers to win this game. The Chargers have not beaten Mahomes in his own house. Now, this would be the first time Harbaugh's Chargers go in there. This is the first time they're going into that house. And the Chargers are playing well. They're playing well on defense. They're using Herbert sparingly. He only has one pick on the year. Chiefs are playing bad, but they're winning. This is going to be my bold pick of the week.
Ooh.
Chargers win 30-24.
30-24. Put that in your books, folks. I want to just point out, Chiefs, Vegas odds, -4 at home against the Chargers.
They do think the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, more than a field goal.
I like Jim Harbaugh's, and that might be the old Harbaugh bias coming out. I think the Chargers are taking this. That's my bold prediction of the week. That's my boldest pick of the week right there. Chargers win. Doesn't take, well, I don't know, because if the Bills win and the Chiefs lose, we have a shakeup in the AFC.
Talking about seeding? The seeding does change a bit. That's true. Because the Bills have that win against the Chiefs, don't they?
They have the tiebreaker over them. Yeah. So the Chiefs have to win this game.
Could be a situation where they will not be the division leaders. That's the name to check out.
No, because the Chiefs, I don't think the Chiefs can afford to not be number one this year. I think if they have to go on the road, I think if they have to be a wild card, if they have to play in wild card weekend, I think that hurts them.
Just real quick, you had Minnesota beating the Vikings. I mean, Minnesota beating the Falcons, right?
Yes.
And you had Detroit losing to Green Bay, correct? No, you had Detroit losing to Green Bay.
Yeah, I had Detroit losing to Green Bay.
Wouldn't that put Minnesota on the top of the NFC? They're both. Detroit is 11-1. Minnesota is 10-2. If Detroit takes that loss, they become 10-2. I mean 11-2. While Minnesota be 11-2. But does Minnesota? Did they play them?
Detroit beat them.
Oh, I wasn't sure they had the game yet. Okay,
they did. Detroit beat them once.
I thought it was going to have that. You know how they congested all at the end of the year, because I know they had Detroit at the end.
No, I'm pretty sure they played them. I think it was like 31-29 or something like that. And
Detroit that's won. Right. Detroit won. Look, that was a close game too. Dude, I don't know.
It was. The Vikings are frisky, and it's because of their defense. Brian Flores has a really solid defensive scheme. He keeps them in their games. If they didn't have that good of a defense, they wouldn't be a good team. They would be a mid team at best.
Oh, you're right. But that's essentially. Oh, or the Packers. I don't know. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway, all right. In the final game of this week, Monday Nighter, we are talking the Cincinnati Bengals, scratching and clawing their way down to Dallas to face the hapless Cowboys. Both of these teams don't look great. We would assume maybe one beats the other, but I don't know. Who do you think, Chris? Who do you think will win this game?
Do I have to praise the Cowboys?
Well, before you do that, let me just real quick give you this idea. Vegas has Bengals -5.5.
And they're going to Dallas?
In Dallas. Dallas at 5-7. They got a better record than the Bengals, mind you.
Yeah, we have the same record.
Slightly better.
Yeah, because the Bengals don't have a defense. They don't. Like, they can score on you, but then they're just going to let you score right back. The problem with that equation is the Cowboys' offense sucks. That's the thing.
Who's scoring there?
Well, that's the thing. Everybody scores on Dallas at home. They went from being undefeated at home last year to getting blown out at home multiple times.
They're not scary.
This season, they're not scary. And with Joe Burrow's offense, I don't know. Their defense worries me. That's the thing. Because the Cowboys' defense is still intact. That's how they won their last game. No, I got to take Joe on this. Cooper Rush isn't getting the job done. Cooper Rush is not. Trey Lance could play, but I don't think he gets the job done either.
I don't think Trey Lance is going to get a look.
I don't think so either. I don't think the Cowboys can stop Jamar and T. Higgins. So, no, I'm taking the Bengals.
All right, that's fair. I kind of agree with that as well. Oh, do you have a point prediction on this one? Monday Nighter.
Joe Burrow's been lighting it up no matter what defense he's played against. So I would say Joe gets at least 3 scores, maybe 2 of them to Jamar. They got to get at least a field goal in there. Let's say 27-17.
27-17. Not a bad pick. All right. 27-7. All right. Well, there it is, folks. We gave you the weekly predictions. We gave you a good bit of discourse amongst who should be paid, who's a dirty player. But you know what? How about you jump into the comments and let us know what you think about these topics. Also, who you have winning this week. You know what? We've got a recent video posted up talking about the MVP conversation. Could be Josh Allen. Go ahead and check it out. It's on our TikTok with a few other videos coming up as well. But in the meantime, my name is Albert. This is your boy, Extra Crispy Chris. This is Fourth Down Talk, where every down always counts. And you know what? Go into the comments and let us know your opinion because it matters too.
It does.
Until then, we hope to see you next time.